And it looks like we are live once again. Welcome to another episode of the Manny Wolf Show. Today I have with me Hector Gonzalez. And honestly, if you don't know who Hector is, you got to follow this guy. Him and his partner, name your partner.
Seth Russo.
Seth Russo seem to have created nothing short of magic with, is it fair to call it a subscription model? How do you define what you guys are doing in business?
Yeah. So basically what we do is we help coaches, consultants, and course creators help them create sustainable six-figure subscription models.
Subscription models, okay.
Yep. Yeah, subscription businesses, and in graft an offer like that into their business so that, they have something that's generating 5, 10, 15, 20K, even upwards up to 30, 40K, depending on how hard you drive it, in reoccurring revenue that requires you to work maybe 7 to 10 hours a month on. And so we help people with that, and it's been pretty cool seeing some of the results that's been happening.
Yeah, it's been really cool to watch. It's been so cool to watch that I invited you to join me so we could talk about it and maybe promote it out a little bit. It almost seems too good to be true, man. You know what I mean? So talk. You must get that pushback a little bit, right?
I get that all the time.
Yeah. Talk about that.
We get it all the time. I think one of the biggest skepticism is it literally feels way too good to be true in terms of the results that we end up producing. But we found that literally, because we've done this as an agency. The funny part is that we, for the past couple of years now, we've done a bunch of agency stuff, webinars, everything you can think of.
Okay.
We've basically done it. And one of the things that we noticed required the least amount of skill and that almost near guaranteed results was a subscription offer, because of the fact of the nature of the offer, specifically the pricing of it, and the easy level of management that the offer has. We've just found it to where it's like it's just so easily predictable. And so we found that, well, we have an agency. A lot of people can't do our agency. Most of our clients, actually all of our clients who do our agency are usually at 7 figures. So we were like, let's just teach people how to do this, because this is going to be a really valuable offer for people to learn and create for themselves. Yeah. And we're seeing really great results with that. But we get it. I think there's nothing too much you can do about the whole, it's too good to be true. I think it's just, our results will prove for themselves. Like, that's just kind of what we let our results kind of speak for themselves. I know you see it. We're constantly posting in there. We're getting a couple of clients to launch some subscription offers as well. So like, at the end of the day, I think for anything that's very new, there's always going to be that skepticism. So we were kind of expecting that, and we're just like, it's honestly okay if people are skeptical, because frankly, much of the internet world has very questionable things. And so we're just like, let's just let our results speak for themselves. And then, that will stand the test of time. And so that's kind of how we're approaching it. And
nice. What kind of results are you getting? Let's just talk turkey here. What are you creating with people and for people?
100%. So one of the, obviously, if you guys follow me on Facebook, more recently, we have it to where a client, she currently, prior to working with us, she wasn't doing 6 figures. She was doing about 5 to 7K in her network marketing business. And so she wasn't balling, in her business. And recently, it's, I think, day 27. I wish I had my phone with me. I could pull out the results, but we're around 11,700 in reoccurring revenue. We're around 23 to 24,000 in collected revenue. There's a reason there for that gap, and I know you and I had a conversation about it. With around $3,000 in ad spend in the past 30 days, and so that's just one. I had another client who, after 3 emails sent, we generated 9K in reoccurring revenue over a week, and 11K in collected over a week and a half. We had another client where she generated after this was probably our more dramatic ones, but we did a whole crazy system, and we had generated around $30,000 in cash collected revenue in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And we added another 8,000 to 10,000 in reoccurring revenue to her business monthly. And so she not only collected $30,000 in that point, she added on another around like 8 to 10K every single month for however long those subscribers stay. And so, right. Needless to say, the results are pretty dramatic in terms of what we've seen. Sure. I think there's a lot of reasons for that, but it's pretty cool to see some of the things that are happening with our clients. And we're gonna have a burst more because, as you know, Manny, we're taking on we're taking on right now. Now that we launched this mentorship, we're doing this one-on-one coaching for individuals, mm-hmm. and about to get a couple of people launching their subscriptions as well. So I mean, it's just been constant. Honestly, it's been overwhelming in a good way.
Yeah. So, how do you deal with questions like the big question? There's two big things with a subscription model service, right? Or maybe three that I know of. One is, of course, churn rate.
Yep.
One is whether or not you make it an abstract brand or a personal brand, which will determine to a large extent whether you can sell it later. Mm-hmm. Because if you take a subscription model and you show a good track record for a year, you can then sell that thing.
Oh yeah.
But if you do it like Manny's Daily Tips, then it gets a little harder to sell it, right?
Of course, yeah. When you make it.
Yeah. Do you account for those things? And then what was so it was churn rate, it was the abstract brand idea, and then there was, I'm drawing a blank on the other one, but those two are really important.
Of course, yeah. So we're actually, me and Seth have been talking about this to test this with larger corporate brands. Uh-huh. We've done this a lot. All of our, just so that you're aware, all of our, I would say, offers have been fairly wide scope in the sense of they're not personal branded. It's not like Manny's Daily kind of thing. Yeah. It's very positioned as like a problem solver. Uh-huh. So it's much more sellable in that side of things. Actually, 100% of our subscription offers have been that, even though a lot of our clients have been coaches, and mm-hmm. you would venture probably to agree with this, that most coaches are kind of like personal brands.
Yeah.
End up developing their business, mm-hmm. and how they grow their business usually is through personal branding.
Yeah.
So while majority of our clients have built their businesses from a personal brand perspective, we position the offer as like a problem solver than it is like a personal brand, because we want it to be a brand builder, but we also want it to be we want it to be an actual business, something that people do. And so that's something we've seen. We're looking to take it definitely eventually to like larger corporate companies, because we genuinely believe that corporate companies can utilize some strategies like this.
Sure.
Churn rates, man, bro, it's honestly really small. It's actually really low. So there's a couple of reasons why that's the case. One reason, and this is something that we call the Ritz-Carlton lobby effect. If you go into the Ritz-Carlton and you create the experience that they have in the lobby, any high-end hotel,
right,
where when you step into there, you're not paying anything to step. It's entry. It's entry level. You enter in there, but the experience that you have makes you like gravitate towards it. You're like,
sure,
this is awesome. Like, this is a great experience.
Yeah.
So what is happening is that you either want to stay there or you want to figure out a way on how you could live there, or you have a goal or something like that. Yeah. Well, what we honestly teach our clients is like, create a process and a system that's actually extremely valuable and a need, almost like creating an essential in this person's life. What's an inconvenience in this person's life that you can actually fill the gap to where they're going to consistently want? For example, Netflix is nearly essential. It's damn near essential for people because it deals with the issue of inconveniently searching onto the web for different media, different forms of entertainment, and it's in one spot. Right. So for the most part, during coronavirus, while they might cancel all their other stuff, they don't cancel their Netflix because it's actually handling, it's actually legitimately solving a problem, which is kind of why we say have the offer positioned towards solving a legitimate problem within your market, not just me, myself, and I personal brand. Because if you do that, your churn rates are going to be a lot less. If it's just the Manny Academy or the Manny, the Manny Show kind of thing, then people will end up the churn rate is a lot worse. But when it's a legit problem solver, for example, this girl, she's in the network marketing space. She also is really good with design, and so one of the things that that she had done was, a lot of the people within the network marketing space, they suck at content. They're awful. We can all agree that for the majority of them, they're awful. Especially the aesthetic side of things. So what she's done is that her offer is very much a problem solver. She has really good designed branded templates along with prompted content stuff to prompt these people to help the network marketing space to help them with their content. So it's branded, it's aesthetic, and it's good content that they're promoting now instead of the standard, here's my essential oil, buy it today, DM me kind of thing like that every network has. And so really, if you're in the network marketing space, that's actually a very good essential thing, especially if you treat your business legitimately. Yeah. And you see it as a business. You're going to want that thing for as long as possible. And especially if you're paying $20-$25 a month, you're like, yeah, I want to have that. And so our goal is really with subscription offers that we position them as problem solvers more than personal brand. Yeah. Because of the fact that the churn rates are much less. We've found it that on average, if it's positioned as a problem solver in your subscription, you're looking at keeping your subscribers for upwards up to from 9 to 12 months. You'll lose around 1 max 5% of your subscribers if it's really good and it's a good problem solver. Nice. So that's if you have 1,000 people. If you have 1,000 people, that means you'll be looking at 1% of those people, 1 to 5% of people dropping off after around relatively 9 to 12 months. And if it's really good. Now, if it's a personal brand thing like you're referencing, you might lose a lot more, like 10, 15, 20. That's where you kind of you always have to kind of hustle it and all that stuff. And that's kind of where it gets unsustainable. And so that's kind of what we've noticed from a data perspective, like what it really is. And so let's get into some of the little kind of particular bits that people may not be thinking of. Like, for instance, what recurring charge platform do you like? And I ask that as a very personal question because I use one and it's got a lot of things about it I like, but it's got some things that I just effing hate, And I did some really big deal to pull out of a commitment to one payment portal, right? It gets to be where all this data is stored in there. And so what portal do you like for consistency and reliability? And we first and foremost, I will say this: I despise PayPal. I never will.
Let's do something right here and right now. You saw me talking about this, and those of you listening and watching who weren't privy to this, I'm in Hector's group, and somebody jumped in and they said, PayPal versus Stripe, what do you think? And in the spirit of helping, because I'm a helper, I jumped in and I said, stay the hell away from PayPal. Cross the street to avoid PayPal. Don't do it, right? Yeah. You don't go in the haunted house on Halloween night. You just don't do it. And so PayPal has no business anywhere near a serious business.
Yeah. Nope.
The only people who disagree with me are people who the second shoe hasn't dropped yet. Right? It is stay the hell away. It's not Elon Musk's baby anymore. Okay.
Yeah. It's funny. I should have learned my lesson because recently it's funny. I took a payment from PayPal.
Yeah.
And the holds and everything.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh my God, I literally cannot even. And then it's like they hold it for 20 days or 30 days.
Indeterminate amount of time with no justification. Yeah.
And then it's like it's hard to get on the phone with them. And it's hysterical. And so I have friends who they're $1 million e-commerce people, and they have like 500,000 just stored up in their PayPal for 6 months because of issues. So definitely answer the reverse answer to this answer is do not use PayPal. I recommend, it's really simple and easy. I think there's no payment process, obviously, that's perfect or that's perfectly ideal, but we just, Stripe is easy. We always use Stripe when it comes to, especially for subscriptions. We think that they're much easier to work with. It's just an easier setup when it comes to getting people's recurring payments and all that stuff. I think it's an easier process to set up. My opinion is Stripe, to be honest.
It's a little more tech in the onset, but then they've got to be probably the most solid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, in my opinion, it does take a little bit of tech work, but I mean, it's like, come on, we got YouTube. Like, you just look up a couple of YouTube videos, and then you'll be able
to. Right. So, for those of you watching that might have studied literature in college, I studied Dante's Inferno. I thought it was brilliant, and PayPal is actually on the 7th level of hell. I just want you guys to know that you just need to take the advice of two guys here and stay the hell. This whole episode could be about staying away from PayPal.
We're training on why not 127 reasons, or maybe 6. Actually, this is more relevant. 666 reasons not to use PayPal. Exactly.
I took my first payment on PayPal in months just the other day, and I don't even do it to myself anymore. I haven't sent it to my wife now. So now I got $900 sitting in PayPal for God knows how long. $900, man. It's just swag. At some point, I'm gonna get $900.
Yeah, it's like same here. I'm waiting for a payment, and I'm like, well, this is great. Thank you, PayPal. So Stripe is the way. Stripe is the way.
Okay, so Stripe it is, and then I don't know how much you're willing to reveal the sort of the secret sauce, but talk about what the funnel looks like a little bit.
Of course, yeah. So I'm very much super transparent. Like we don't, me, Seth, and even our clients know this. Like, we're very transparent with our content. I think one of the reasons why is like a lot of the things that the market will say, or really a lot of marketers will say is like, teach the why, but not the how, and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, I just try my best to not like think that way, that, you're gonna lose your business if you teach all these different things. In my opinion, I'm like, there's no other Hector Gonzalez, there's no other Manny, there's no other whatever. And at the end of the day, I can teach you the how, but there's going to be a lot of other aspects within this that we literally can't even share today. So the process is actually really simple. It's what we've seen that has worked 100% of the time is really simple. Front end ad to free automated challenge. Mm-hmm. That free automated challenge, what you do is you get a registration page that captures their email to go and give them a link to a back end free course, which is where the challenge videos are. And in essence, when you capture their email on the front end in those videos, you're giving them really good, valuable content, really good. So the goal is like over deliver, because again, that's the Ritz-Carlton effect. If in a free experience where they step into the lobby or whatever, they're like, oh my God, this is beautiful. This is amazing. I want more. And that's why I believe, like, if I give my best all of the time, it's always going to work in my benefit, no matter what. Even if I get house here, it's like, cool, no matter, it doesn't matter. And so, needless to say, if people experience that on the front end in a free challenge where they're getting really good, high quality, high value stuff, moment at the end of that video, and this is, we help our clients map out their scripting process to go and, do that. From that point on the front end, they're getting pitched the subscription offer. And on the back end, because you have their emails, there's a back end automated process in email marketing where they're getting pitched and sold the subscription as well. So it's really simple. Front end ad to free challenge that's fully automated. So you're not doing organic launch files. You're not always having to all of that. It's really simple, just automated. And they're getting pitched on the front end and they're getting pitched on the back end. And that's how it's worked. And 100%. So the 23,000 in sales that has been generated from our client, we would say, because we have it to where all those people are also getting into a Facebook group just for community purposes. She's not like hardcore stuff in there, but community purposes, she's generated maybe a couple $100 organically. So everything has been automated. All the sales that she's generated has been purely from the Facebook ad stuff. So we end up doing that. And then on the back end, when someone's done with their challenge, they just get retargeting ads to purchase the subscription offer. So it's fairly simple, honestly. It's a very simple process. We massively don't believe we massively believe in simplicity and not complicated process. I think people get overwhelmed, and as an agency, we've worked with doing it for clients. We've just found that the simpler the process, the better. And so,
absolutely, without a doubt, simplicity is the highest form of sophistication.
Yep, exactly.
Now, how do you deliver the subscription? Like whatever it is they subscribe to, is it just delivered in email?
That's kind of the interesting part where it's a little bit different, because what we look to do is we have kind of like a running checklist of different things that you could include. We call it like the buffet of subscriptions. So there's these different opportunities. These are the different possible subscriptions that you can deliver. Done for you templates, or some done for you stuff in there, or you see Jasmine Star using this in her selling social. I can't remember exactly. It's like something with social media that she has in her subscription. That's kind of like a little bit of done for you. This girl, our client, who's in network marketing, there's a little bit of done for you in there. You got video vault styles. So that's like very much like Netflix. There's constantly curated content on the back end. There's different ways on how you can map out a Netflix offer. We try to not do one size fits all. Well, one thing we've personally seen, and I'm sure you understand this, is it's like everyone starts looking the same when you have everything overly templatized.
Yeah. Very much.
Everyone's the coach to fit pros. Like it starts becoming everyone looks the same, sounds the same, all of that. So, the only way to differentiate yourself is mechanize your processes and create unique mechanisms. And so our goal is to have a templated structure of different deliverables that you could put in your subscription offer. But then in our coaching system, we find out the unique processes that are going to go in your subscription offer that are going to make you different. Because last thing we would want is like a flood of fitness coaches or business coaches,
right? With Facebook groups, and
everyone sounds the same. Everyone looks the same. Like everyone's subscription is the same. And then in the next 3 to 5 years, the market's completely saturated, and now everyone's subscription offer is nearly irrelevant. And so it's like our goal is to use these subscription offers as, number one, a medium for passive income and sustainable success, and number two, as brand builders. So that's kind of why we genuinely believe there should be some form of customization to cater and tailor to your business, your brand, your vision.
Yeah.
If not, and we just give a templatized, here, just create a video vault. In the next, 2-3 years, everyone's going to have a video vault, and it's going to be like, okay, cool. Like, where's the differentiation factor? I'm very well aware of what is it in The Power of Habit. He talks about cognitive desensitization, which basically is the psychological aspect of when humans are so familiar with something, they become fully desensitized to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of why we're like, we want to have some templated structures, but at the same time, we want to have some form of differentiation and customization, and there else, we're gonna create that problem in the market. And so, yeah,
I think that shows a lot of insight. Everybody does the Facebook group, and they connect it to the email list, and you're right. It gets to the point where we just start to think this couldn't possibly be different. And we're working against a sort of gravity. We're working against gravity in a way, right? Because if you're in the coaching space in the first place, there's so much just nonsense, and earning someone's trust is it's more and more of a job every month, probably, certainly every year.
Oh yeah.
And so
trust is more and more as there's technological advancements, culture changes, all these different things. Trust is something that's much, much harder to earn. Yeah. And I think the reason why we love subscription offers is that we genuinely believe that they're probably one of the best ecosystems and brand builders to ascend people into higher element offers that you may end up having. And so, the subscription offer, people can go and be like, oh, I just want a subscription offer and that's it. But one thing we've realized is like one of the best the best subscription offer is the subscription offer for the full-time or six-figure or upper six-figure, seven-figure coach, that kind of range. And they're doing all high ticket, and their model has been, one of, I'm going to have a DM team, a lead gen team that DMs a bunch of people, or whatever it is. And the goal is that this can, either the subscription offer can be your one and main business, and it's sustainable, it's very low management, and it's very easy, and a great means of cash flow, or it's a means to create a high trust community, because that's what Netflix is. It's a community where people are going to be much more likely to hire you. I mean, this. It's like, I'm sure some of your offers are pretty high tiered, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, upwards to even possibly 100K offers. Selling someone from pure who's never paid you before to a 5, 10, 15, upwards to 20 to 100K is going to be much more difficult than someone who's paying you something. And
absolutely.
There's something about the credit card. There's something just about the credit card that,
there is. And
no matter what, even if it is only $25, it's still gonna be easier to convert that person. And that's kind of what our goal with these subscription offers are.
Yeah. I think that part is still as true today. I probably first read that in like .com secrets 6 years ago or something, whatever it was, something that's now almost a cliche. But that part I think is still absolutely true of the people that I've sold into higher end services and products and courses and whatever. 30% maybe have been cool. Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think no matter what, while there's always going to be formula changes, there's going to be strategic changes that how you do things, webinars in the next 5 years might look a different way. Like strategically, those things are going to be, always changing and adjusting. Vehicles for marketing. But I would say human psychology is human psychology. Like at the end of the day, humans are always just going to, that incremental development, where what is it called? Not Power of Habit, but Tiny Habits and other books on how humans, how we build trust is small incremental steps that all of a sudden accumulate more and more and more. And that's, creating a high trust environment. It's like, really at the end of the day, that's just how humans work. That's how we've worked evolutionary since we were freaking, wearing, leaves on our, crotches. It's like, since we've been doing that, that's how we build trust. It's always the small things that open us up and allow us to trust people more. I think no matter, in the next 10 years, it might be a different process that is helpful for people. But no matter what, there's always going to be that element, psychologically speaking, that humans just are going to require those small little development steps or investment to trust that and to trust.
I'm 100% in alignment with that. I think the vehicles change as technology changes and as new sort of new thinking comes into marketing, right? Like you younger guys are coming in and you're seeing what the last sort of generation, the last tier of really high level marketers did. And you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe we tweak this here, tweak that there. But never have I seen anyone be able to sort of successfully go against the fundamentals of human nature.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I agree with you completely. It's interesting. I really, really like watching the next generation come up and address these challenges and figure out their own solutions to it.
Totally. Yeah. It's really interesting for me. To be honest, I even hate the idea of being labeled a marketer. I'm not. I first and foremost see myself as someone who is extremely fascinated with just humans. Like If there was anything that any direction that I were to take, if this weren't the thing that I would be doing, it would either be something in psychology or a detective,
Right.
where
Yeah.
I would have to analyze humans and how they think and their body language and all this stuff. Like I've always been very fascinated with that. I think that's probably because, born and raised Puerto Rican in New York City, we always have to kind of analyze how human beings are ingrained in the culture there. And so I'm very fascinated with just, why humans, why we do the things that we do, why we believe that we believe, how beliefs are even formed. Like, I'm very fascinated with that, about those things, and seeing those aspects, like even now, and you're engaging with it. I'm very much interested in how, government has, orchestrated certain things to specifically either create trust or division or whatever it is. It's like how humans relate to that, and then we end up believing this side or that side. Like it's a really interesting thing to observe and see, and I just kind of see myself as someone who just really enjoys studying how humans think, and that the expression is marketing and business and all that.
I totally get that too. I would say that I think of myself as someone who does marketing but is not a marketer. Yeah, I really, and there's too many, too wide a range of everyone from clowns to bad actors in the marketing space. Right? There is. Let's be real. There are some just class A douchebags in the space, and they make it to where the rest of us don't even want to, call ourselves marketers. I don't want to wear that badge. Not if you're wearing it.
It's it's the whole, pretend to be a millionaire until people to actually then become a millionaire. The Instagram ballers. You're like, oh, I got my BMW i8, rented it on Turo. You rented it on Turo.
Totally.
And then all of a sudden it's like, wow, he's doing so great. I'm gonna buy his $1,000 course. And now he buys the Audi R8. The BMW R8. The R8, the i8. And decided he's a millionaire. So
I think it was 2 years ago for my birthday. My wife rented me a Model S for the day off Turo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, it was just, anybody, if you haven't driven one of those things, you got to drive one. But I was so just like, I could do that thing. I could do that internet baller thing. But no, I posted a picture of myself with it and in it, and was like, rented it for the day, But no, I know. It's a weird space. There's just so much opportunity for low hanging fruit, and then there's so much anonymity, and there's so lack of accountability.
I honestly feel like I'm in the digital version of a bunch of 6-figure high school students. Like it's high school a little bit. Drama. There's the tribes, the cliques. You got your companies here, your copywriters there. You got your media buyer like homies there, and then you got your coaches and consultants over there. You got your
media buyer homies. I love that. Yeah, that's that.
All like hating on each other, like, oh, you suck as a coach, and they're creating polarizing content. And I'm like, this is enjoyable to see.
And while we're at it. Just because you're a coach doesn't mean you're an entrepreneur. Sorry to burst your bubble. That's another one. All the coaches stole that word, man. They just took it.
Yeah, it's like, did you know coach and an entrepreneur is not synonymous?
Right.
I honestly even think 6-figure business owner is not a business owner. Like, you're making good money and you have a system in place, but for me, in my mind, I'm like, I'll start considering myself a CEO when I'm pulling in, 2-3 mil, 5 mil, and I'll consider myself a CEO at that time. I've got to earn that right, and so
I think you're a CEO when you have teams, and those teams can be as small as one person. But when you have teams who execute functions and come back to you for synthesis and vision, then you're a CEO.
At that point, now when you have divisions and departments within your company, you got your operations, and then with your operations, you got your HR, and then from there, you got your customer service, your coaching division, your coaching, department, and then you got your sales. It's like, and then they're all organized in the fashion to where there's heads of those departments because you organize them correctly. And then from there, they're all like communicating to you what's going on, what are the bottlenecks. Like that's a business.
That's a business, and that's a CEO. Yeah, I actually have to start producing some content as the CEO of We School.
Yeah, I actually thought about that. I saw that. Really, tell me a little about what's going on with that. I saw a post about that recently. That's a pivot that you're doing recently.
Yeah,
yeah. Very interesting.
So yeah, I'll tell you. We'll switch roles here for a minute. Basically, for you and for everybody listening, two of my best clients, best long-term clients, are both educators. Mm-hmm. And it just started to be like, I really have to introduce these two. I introduced them. They hit it off great. At some point I said, especially when coronavirus hit and everything kind of slowed down and got weird, nobody knew what was what. I made a prediction that education was going to change forever, and not just in the incremental way it was changing, because it had changed incrementally. People are still trying to like fix public school from inside and all this stuff. You can't do it. You don't go in the belly of the whale and carve your way out. It's not happening. So shortest story is we got together and we started to brainstorm and dream, like, what if school could look this way? What if we didn't have to worry about start times anymore? What if we had hubs all over the country so that if you were a millennial who loved to be location independent and you wanted your kids to have a consistent top quality educational experience, you could travel around without that experience ever being compromised? What if we had AR and VR, plus you could do online learning or in-person learning without ever interrupting your educational experience, right? So you have all these access points to the same fundamental experience. Now, what if we could, what if we could do something like Tesla did, where the first phase, granted, it's expensive, it's for early adopters, but what if we could get it all the way down to top quality private school education, free to all in the whole world? And now I find myself with a chief marketing officer, a chief innovation officer, a chief financial officer, a chief operations officer, and me. And it's just like, wow. It is wild.
So it's basically like digitizing education and creating systems that create a legitimate, robust, and high quality education without necessarily having the need to be at a school, quote unquote.
It is. It's part that, but we really also want to do away with some of the foundational DNA of public education. We need it. We all believe unequivocally that you can't revolutionize education until you start getting real about what your kids are going to be doing in 15 years.
Yep.
The world they're going into. I look at Waldorf and I look at Montessori, and it's so funny to me because usually it's parents who are well off in tech who put their kids in these schools where the kids act like they're in a Ren fair all day. Like there's nothing further from the world those kids are going into than running around in little homemade clothes, playing with sticks and rocks. It's surreal to me. Now, is it all bad? No, it's not all bad. However, we believe that thoughtful, innovative, forward-thinking ways of integrating the realities of technology into the learning experience have to be part of it.
Of course.
And that's why we got a chief innovation officer. He comes from a 28-year background with IBM and AT&T, and he's just
wow.
So, yeah, that's what we're up to. If you want me on your podcast to talk about it,
I'm like, that's crazy. I think there's just a massive reformation that is needed within the modern educational system. For me, I graduated a C- student. I was no all-star in school.
Right.
And for me, looking back on a lot of things, there were certain qualities in terms of teaching style and how to actually communicate to people with, different capacities of learning.
Yeah.
everything is self-taught that for the most part is very self-taught.
Same here.
In terms of what I've been able to do. And just like life, like what you had mentioned, I feel like I wasn't taught on financial education. And I feel like, why the hell was that not even talked about in
Right.
school? Like, those are going to be huge aspects within school. You would think that those things are going to be communicated, especially if you're going to create a system to where people are going to spend 30 to 50 G's that they're going to need to have to pay that off in the next 10, 20 years of their life. It's like, why aren't we teaching about finances? Why aren't we teaching about life stuff?
Yeah.
And I think there's obviously, like, no system is perfect, but I think there's a massive gap and lack, amongst these communities. It's funny that you're saying this, because I've had a huge passion, like a big part of me doing my business was very motivated by a very challenging experience that I had. I was born and raised in the Bronx, New York. All my community, Latin and Latino, Black community, and seeing how lack some of the the experience was there in terms of the educational system, and realizing that that there's a huge need. There's a huge need for that, and I think that what you guys are doing, is really powerful. And what I've honestly been doing has been pretty much motivated to eventually in the next 10 years to do something in that space, because of the fact that I've observed that as a huge issue that really needs to be adjusted.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. And it's not that, I saw the problem and now I'm dealing with it. These kind of problems, the vision to the solution doesn't necessarily come easily or all at once, right?
Of course.
I mean, I had a nightmarish. I had a prototypical nightmare scenario all through school. It was shit from wall to wall for me. There was no good part of school for me at all. I dropped out of the 11th grade. I didn't go back to college for 12 years after that. Never finished college either. And it still didn't dawn on me that this would be a worthwhile thing to tackle.
Yeah.
Only when things lined up right did it, you don't see it till you see it.
Yeah, it's really.
And so I'm reminded of Michael Gerber, the guy who created the E-Myth Academy and wrote those wonderful books.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked him, how did you know you wanted to do the E-Myth Academy? And he says, I didn't. I had no idea I wanted to do this. The work kept presenting itself to me, and as I did it, I got more and more interested in it. It was elegant, it was seductive, it was hard work, it was rewarding, and it just led me here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize that some of your greatest ideas are accidental. Like, a lot of the critical mass experiences where something's taking off in a really exponential way. If you look at a lot of some of the major companies and even billionaires, very little of it was perfectly strategic.
Yeah.
A lot of it was very much just adventure and play and allowing themselves to just discover and experience in that moment. And that feedback created just continual growth to where, you got he's publishing a top book, classic and things like you're doing where you just kind of figure it out at the moment. And then 10, 15 years from now, it ends up being, an extremely revolutionizing, process and product for.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Well, I like how we flipped the roles there a little bit towards the end. That was kind of cool. Listen, man, congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go follow Hector Gonzalez, you guys. Is there a way that people can get into your group?
Yeah. So you just go to Marketing Masters, Marketing Masters Community, a group for coaches and course creators. Again, we're probably going to end up changing that, but for now it is that. We're going to probably have it more to subscription funnels community. It'll be the free community to learn subscription funnels and so on and so forth and all that stuff. But for now, just Marketing Masters, and you'll be able to learn a lot in there. I mean, Manny's in there. Like we give some pretty intensive stuff. Like we very much are really about giving high quality value in every aspect of our process. Like whether it's our free content, whether it's our paid content, hiring us as consultants to show you how to do it, whether it's agency, our big belief is just we want to leave a Ritz-Carlton experience throughout the entire, whether it's the lobby, you pay for an apartment, all these things. We want to provide that all throughout. And that's our vision. That's our goal. And so that's what we look to do. So you get a lot of good stuff in there.
Perfect, man.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me on.
Definitely.